Okay, this is the first test of the clip together cell, whatever you want to call it. No fasteners, completely, I guess you could call that a clamp. There's 4 pieces of metal that sandwich the plates. They're not connected electrically to the plates. They have gasket material between them, so it slips apart. This one, I glued the gaskets because I need a one-piece gasket. You can see the gaskets inside, and what it is I've used some gasket sealer around those to test the design. Have an output on both sides at the top, and a return line at the bottom. They go up to the reservoir, and then I've got the output going through a little bubbler here. It's just a backflash arrestor, but I'm actually wouldn't work with this because the diameter is too small and I'm putting out too much. What I've got here is I've got a power supply, which is adjustable up to 120 volts. You can see that mark right there is 40 volts, and that's about a third of the way around, and that's where I'll be turning my mark to. You can see it stops. So it's just a standard Sta-Co Variac. Okay, so we've got 110 coming in, going to the Variac, and then rectifying it, coming out at DC voltage, going through the amp gauge into the cell. And then we've got our volt gauge hooked up to both sides of the cell. So we're ready to do our first test. I'm going to use the bottle method, which I've used plenty of times in the past. This is a general idea, but it's a good way to measure volume at home. So that's what we've got, and that's what we're going to use. Let me see if I can set up a camera here for hands-free operation. Hold on here, bear with me. Alright, see if I can zoom on this. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this up, and I'm going to go ahead and run it at 40 volts, and after the test I'll verify everything while the bubbles are still coming out of the volume meter. Okay, here we go. Turning on voltage. Alright, and I'm going to bring the voltage up to 40 volts on my meter. And then we'll hook up our output. Okay. There is at 40. Okay. Verified on the panel, looks good. We're at about 12, 13 amps. Now I'm going to go ahead and start my timer. Clear it first. Then I'll start the timer. I don't know if you can see the timer or not. Now I'm going to start the timer at the same time as I push this tube on, and you'll see that move about the same time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're at 14 amps, 41 or 42 volts. 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, 21 seconds. Now I'm going to go ahead and increase this. Okay, we saw that. It's 21 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and get a close-up of our amp gauge. See, we're at 14 amps, 13, 14. Our voltage is reading, hard to see, but it's reading about 40 volts. And we filled up in 21, turn it up, 21 seconds. Okay, so I'm going to reset this. Okay, I'm going to be running a little bit more voltage I'm gonna go about 2 more volts to try to get to 44, 45. Okay, we're at 45 volts. Okay, we're at 16 amps, between 14 and 16 fluctuating. And I'm going to set this up and do the test again. I think you can see, yeah, well, that's about as good as it's going to get. Okay, so we'll be plugging this in at the same time and starting this at the same time. 1, 2, 3. We're drawing 14 amps, 45 volts, 13 amps, 13, 12, 14, and stop. 21 seconds again at 45 volts. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it back down. To 40 volts, just under 40, about 39 like this. Alright, clear that. Run 12 amps. Okay, and the timer's ready. Here. 1, 2, 3. "24 seconds, 12 amps, 40 volts. Okay, 12 amps, 24 seconds, 40 volts. And that's actually less on the panel where I've had it before at 40 volts, but we're reading 40 volts, so we're going to go with that. We're reading 12 amps. And we had a time of 24 seconds. You can see the output there. It's bubbling pretty steady inside. Now it's getting a little muddy, but that was from my high voltage testing from before. So there you have it.